Hello, brothers, and welcome to Sigma Old Man Channel. Power is not given, it's taken, silently, strategically, and without warning. That's not just a quote. It's a quiet war cry for every Sigma male walking among us, the man who doesn't beg for a seat at the table, because he's already building his own underground empire while everyone else is too busy showing off on Instagram. Here's a brutal fact most people don't want to admit. The loudest man in the room is rarely the one pulling the strings. The real puppet masters? They move in silence, calculate in solitude, and study the 48 laws of power like it's sacred scripture. Only they don't read it, they weaponize it. And Sigma males? They don't just use the 48 laws of power. They bend them, twist them, and sometimes they break them just to rebuild them better. No drama, no spotlight, just ruthless precision. So if you're expecting cliches, flashy charisma, or chest-thumping dominance, click away now. Because what you're about to see isn't about playing the game loudly, it's about mastering it so quietly people don't even realize they've lost. Let's get into how Sigma males use the 48 laws of power like psychological jujitsu, disarming, dismantling, and dominating without making a sound. Number 1, they destroy enemies by never letting them know they're enemies. Sigma males don't do loud takedowns, they don't confront, they don't bark, and they definitely don't waste time on dramatic face-offs. When they decide someone's an enemy, they don't announce it. They just switch into surgical mode. No warnings, no emotional fireworks. They keep the handshake firm and the smile intact, while behind the scenes, they're cutting off air supply to that person's influence, reputation, or access. The genius lies in how invisible it all is. The enemy is still out there thinking everything's normal, laughing at their jokes, copying their moves, completely unaware that the ground beneath them is slowly collapsing. The Sigma male understands a cold truth about power. Enemies who know they're enemies prepare for war. But enemies who believe they're safe get sloppy. That's why Sigmas never declare it. They let their target relax, overstep, brag too loud, expose their weaknesses, all while the Sigma is 3 moves ahead, working in silence to pull key people away, plant subtle doubts and shift dynamics so when the fall happens, it's not a battle, it's a blackout. This isn't about playing dirty, it's about being efficient. A Sigma doesn't waste energy trying to beat someone. He simply removes their ability to play. That might mean never mentioning them in a room full of opportunity. It might mean backing them publicly while denying them privately. It might mean feeding their ego just enough so they walk into traps of their own making. Every move is clean, quiet, and without emotional residue. People don't suspect Sigma males because they don't fit the typical threat profile. They're calm, disconnected, maybe even a little aloof. That's the trap. While everyone watches the loud, aggressive players, the Sigma is already halfway through the blueprint of quiet domination. And by the time the enemy realizes it, the damage is done, and no one saw the blade. The Sigma male never throws the punch. He just hands the opponent the rope and lets them tie the knot themselves. It's power without fingerprints, victory without noise, and revenge that never has to explain itself. Number 2, they enter alliances emotionless and exit them surgical. Sigma males don't do sentimental attachments when it comes to alliances. They're not in it for bonding, loyalty pledges, or shared dreams. They're in it for calculated leverage. Every connection is a tool, not a trophy. They'll show up, deliver value, play their part like a team player, and maybe even let you think you're building something meaningful together. But behind the scenes, they've already built the exit. They never step into anything without mapping out how and when they'll walk away. It's not that they're cold-blooded, it's that they're focused. A Sigma male isn't emotionally invested in partnerships. He's emotionally invested in freedom. And the moment that alliance feels like a leash instead of a ladder, he's out. No debate, no explanation, no looking back. That clean detachment isn't cruelty, it's self-preservation. Because he knows most alliances come with hidden costs, expectations, power plays, emotional manipulation, and unnecessary noise. He avoids all of that by staying one step removed, never giving more than what's strategically required. You'll never hear a Sigma male say, "We're in this together forever." In his head, it's more like, "This works for now." That for now is important because it means he's always scanning for shifts. The moment the alliance starts draining more than it delivers, he doesn't beg for change, he just quietly disconnects. And when he exits, it's surgical, no chaos, no burned bridges, just precision. You'll look around and realize he's gone, and you won't even be sure when it happened. That's how clean his moves are. Most people don't even realize he was using the alliance for intel, access, or temporary momentum. By the time the partnership starts wobbling, he's already stripped it for parts and made himself bulletproof. And if you try to chase him or call him out, you'll find nothing. No drama, no receipts, no weakness to exploit. He doesn't do loyalty for loyalty's sake. He does alignment for as long as it's functional. When it's not, he detaches like a ghost, emotionless, surgical, and 10 steps ahead. Number 3, they create mystery through brutal transparency. Sigma males are masters of controlled exposure. They know people are naturally nosy, suspicious, and always looking for a crack to peer into. So instead of sealing every door shut, they do something way smarter. They leave a few wide open, but only to rooms that lead nowhere. They'll drop something that sounds deep or vulnerable, like a childhood memory or a quirky insecurity, and say it with such calm honesty that people immediately think, wow, he's so open. But here's the catch, that detail was meaningless. It revealed absolutely nothing of real value. This is where the mind games begin. That random bit of oversharing makes people let their guard down. They assume transparency means trust, and once they feel that false sense of closeness, they stop digging. They feel like they know the Sigma, when in reality they've only been shown what he wants them to see. It's brutal because it's strategic, it's not fake, it's just curated. While everyone else is busy spilling their souls to match his fake vulnerability, he's quietly collecting real data. Your patterns, your emotional triggers, your ambitions, your blind spots. He turns the whole exchange into a psychological chess match, and you won't even realize you're being studied. It's not manipulation, it's misdirection. Sigma males know that total silence breeds suspicion, but too much info triggers defense. So they land right in the sweet spot, authentic enough to feel real, but useless enough to protect their core. You'll never know what they're actually planning, fearing, building, or protecting. You'll just feel like you're in the loop, even when you're nowhere close. That's the power of brutal transparency. It feels raw, but it's all smoke and mirrors. Sigma males let you see just enough to think the mystery's solved, when in fact you haven't even found the lock, let alone the key. Number 4, they never argue, they just let your ego bury you. Arguing is noise, and Sigma males don't waste energy on noise. They're tuned into outcomes. When someone tries to drag them into a heated debate, they won't bite. No raised voices, no need to be right, no desperate need to prove a point. They just sit there quiet, watching, while the other person gets louder, cockier, and sloppier. That's silence. It's not passivity, it's data collection. Every exaggerated word, every contradiction, every emotional overreach is fuel for the Sigma's mental file cabinet. The moment someone starts ranting to a Sigma male, they think they're winning. But that's exactly the setup. Sigmas understand that most people argue from ego, not logic. And the more someone thinks they're dominating a conversation, the more likely they are to expose a weakness, a fear, or a crack in their own logic. That's where the Sigma finds leverage, not by shouting back, but by staying still and letting the other person dig their own intellectual grave. And when a Sigma finally speaks, if he speaks at all, it's calculated, quiet, and sharp enough to flip the entire conversation in one sentence. He doesn't aim to win the argument, he aims to end it in a way that leaves no room for comeback, no gloating, no gotcha, just a calm precision strike that disarms everything that came before it. Then he walks away like it wasn't even that serious. What makes it even more brutal is that most people won't even realize they've lost. They'll keep talking long after the Sigma checked out. They'll replay the conversation later and slowly realize they exposed themselves while he stayed untouchable the entire time. To a Sigma male, arguing is a trap for amateurs. Real power doesn't shout. It listens, stores, and waits. While everyone's busy trying to win the moment, he's winning the war without making a sound. Number 5, they pretend to need less than they do, so you offer more than you should. Sigma males have perfected the art of reverse psychology without even saying a word. They walk into rooms like they don't need validation, praise, or support. And that's exactly why people start throwing it at them like confetti. While everyone else is performing for attention, they're just unbothered, detached, focused on their own lane. That indifference isn't arrogance, it's calculated minimalism. The less they appear to need, the more people feel compelled to give. It messes with people's heads, honestly. We're wired to respond to demand. When someone doesn't demand anything, it creates this subtle tension, like you're not sure where you stand with them. So you start offering more respect, more support, more effort, just to feel seen by them. And the Sigma, he never asked for any of it. But now he has your investment without lifting a finger. What makes it even more lethal is how believable their indifference is. They'll turn down help, not to make a statement, but because they genuinely prefer doing it themselves. They won't fish for compliments or nod eagerly when praised. They might not even react. That emotional restraint. It activates a psychological itch in others, this urge to break through and win their approval. Before you know it, you're working overtime to prove your loyalty, hoping they notice while they maintain their cool distance, quietly observing who's giving the most without being asked. It's a power play in disguise. While others broadcast neediness, the Sigma broadcasts self-sufficiency, and people reward him for it. And the real mind twist? He often does need things, support, loyalty, attention, but he'll never show it, because the moment you reveal need, you give others power. Sigma males don't play that game. They downplay their needs so convincingly that people start offering more than they should, just to fill a void that may or may not even exist. In a world obsessed with taking, Sigma males win by pretending they're fine with less. And that quiet illusion, it flips the whole dynamic, turning them into the one person everyone's trying to earn, without them ever asking to be earned. Number 6, they protect their reputation by making sure it's boring. Sigma males play the long game, and part of that game is knowing when to disappear in plain sight. They don't chase clout, they don't brag about their wins, and they never give people ammo to use against them. Their reputation? Intentionally dull. Not because they lack substance, but because they've made it a fortress. While everyone else is busy creating buzz and building a persona, the Sigma is doing something far more strategic, becoming forgettable on purpose. They've learned that the more you reveal, the more people assume, and the more people assume, the more they talk. So they give the world nothing to latch onto. No flexing, no outbursts, no cryptic social media posts screaming for attention. They might show up looking average, speak in calm tones, and mention nothing about what they're building, because the second you look harmless, people stop watching you. It's not humility, it's tactical invisibility. Sigma males understand that reputation is power, but too much reputation becomes a target. When you're flashy, people plot. When you're mysterious, people panic. But when you seem boring, people forget. And that's when they strike. When no one's watching, when no one's guessing, when no one even thinks they're in the game. This also protects them from being pulled into gossip loops, ego traps, and competitive drama. There's no story to tell about them because they don't give anyone a headline. Their ambition is hidden behind jokes. Their wealth looks modest, their network is invisible. Everything meaningful is wrapped in layers of silence. People assume they're just doing okay, which is exactly the illusion the Sigma wants. Because when you're underestimated, you're free. Free to maneuver without interference. Free to plan without sabotage. Free to win without having to explain how you did it. So while others are out there screaming, "Look at me," the Sigma male is in the shadows making power moves under the radar. And the beauty of it? By the time anyone realizes he wasn't boring at all, he's already too far ahead to catch. Number 7, they deliberately confuse kindness with neutrality. Sigma males don't go out of their way to be charming or rude. They stay planted right in that strange middle ground where you can't quite figure them out. They'll nod at you, maybe offer a calm thanks or a neutral glance, and that's it. You're left wondering, was that cold? Was that polite? Are they just like that? Or did I do something wrong? That little mental glitch. That's not a glitch to them. It's the whole strategy. They understand that people fear uncertainty more than hostility. If someone's clearly nice or clearly mean, you know how to respond. But when someone's sitting right on that emotional fence, never too friendly, never too cold, you stay on edge. You start questioning your tone, your behavior, your relationship with them. That self-doubt builds, and now you're the one doing the emotional labor, not them. Sigma males weaponize that ambiguity, not in a manipulative way, but in a protective, tactical way. They don't hand out emotional clarity like candy, because clarity gives people power. If someone knows how you feel, they can predict you. But if they're unsure whether you like them, respect them, or are just tolerating them, they tread carefully. They don't test boundaries, they don't push. They don't feel confident enough to challenge you because they're not even sure where they stand. And here's the twist. The Sigma's behavior isn't fake, it's just stripped of performance. They treat most people with the same quiet, measured energy, just enough to stay human, never enough to create false intimacy. To them, kindness isn't an invitation, it's a boundary with manners. They're not interested in creating emotional attachments where none are needed, but they're also not out to be cruel, so they offer a gray area, one that keeps people guessing. Over time, that emotional uncertainty builds a quiet kind of control. People become hyper-aware of how they behave around the Sigma, trying to decode every micro-expression. And the Sigma, he just keeps calmly observing, letting the confusion do the work. No effort, no confrontation, just psychological fog that keeps him one step above and 5 steps away. Number 8. They turn envy into a leash. Sigma males have a unique ability to transform envy into control without ever seeming to try. They understand that people watch them, admire them, and even envy them. But the catch is, those people can't figure out how they do it. There's no clear path, no visible roadmap to the Sigma's success, and that confusion breeds envy. But what sets the Sigma apart is that they don't run from this envy. They use it. They turn that desire for what they have into a subtle form of control. By offering just enough to make others feel they're on the verge of understanding the Sigma's formula, they keep the envy alive. Sigma males know how to dangle little wins, small glimpses of success or rare moments of attention. These little victories seem like breakthroughs, like the key to decoding the Sigma's methods. But they're nothing more than bait. These breadcrumbs are enough to keep others hungry, chasing after shadows they'll never catch. What makes it so brilliant is that the more people chase these elusive wins, the more they waste time and energy trying to figure out something that can't be figured out. They're constantly a step behind, obsessed with deciphering the Sigma's every move, when in reality it's all part of the game. Sigma males don't need to lift a finger to keep people occupied, they simply feed them just enough to keep them hooked, always wondering what's next. The envy doesn't burn out because the Sigma keeps the mystery alive. People don't realize that, in their obsessive pursuit, they're bound by an invisible leash. They can't escape because they can't decode the secret to the Sigma's life. And the more they try, the further they fall into the trap. The Sigma male doesn't need to compete, manipulate, or control directly. All he has to do is exist, and the envy of others does the rest. It's like a psychological chess move without ever having to play the game at all. Number 9, they practice delayed retaliation. Sigma males don't rush into retaliation. They're not the type to react in the heat of the moment or get caught up in a back and forth. When someone wrongs them, they don't storm off or immediately strike back. Instead, they take a step back, let the dust settle, and bide their time. The beauty of their delayed retaliation is that it's never messy, never reactive. It's strategic, like a chess player waiting for the perfect moment to make the checkmate. When the time comes, though, it's not a small jab or a passing comment. Sigma males retaliate in a way that's permanent, calculated, and almost invisible to those around them. The target might never even know what hit them. There's no dramatic confrontation, no shouting match, just a quiet shift that leaves them scrambling to understand what went wrong. The Sigma's retaliation isn't about making a scene, it's about making sure the lesson sticks, without anyone connecting the dots back to them. This kind of retaliation is dangerous because it's subtle. The Sigma male doesn't burn bridges with fire. He quietly sets a course that makes those bridges crumble on their own. By the time someone realizes they've crossed a line, the Sigma has already moved on, leaving nothing but the aftermath. People won't see it coming, and when they do, they'll be left with a deep, lingering sense of unease, not knowing how or why they've lost the battle. It's a masterclass in patience and precision. While others are caught up in emotional drama, Sigma males are collecting intel, waiting for the perfect moment to act. They don't need to show their hand. They let the situation play out, knowing that when the time is right, the impact will be far more devastating than any instant revenge. And the best part, no one will ever be able to directly link the fallout to them, giving the Sigma the ultimate victory without lifting a finger in the heat of the moment. Number 10. They never teach, only hint. Sigma males are masters of the art of indirect influence. They don't waste time trying to teach or mentor in the conventional sense. They don't hand out knowledge or advice like a lecture. They drop breadcrumbs and watch as people scramble to piece them together. Every word they say, every gesture they make is carefully calculated to provoke thought, not provide answers. They hint, they suggest, but they never spoon-feed. And in that withholding of direct guidance, they create an insatiable curiosity in others. When others come to them for help, the Sigma might not offer a straight solution. Instead, they drop a few well-chosen words, a meaningful glance, or a cryptic observation. They don't spell things out because they understand that the true value of knowledge lies in the pursuit of it. The less they explain, the more people are driven to chase understanding. They make the journey toward knowledge itself feel like an intellectual treasure hunt. The ambiguity forces people to dig deeper, think harder, and engage with their own problem-solving process. This subtle strategy creates an environment where the Sigma's influence grows without them ever having to assert it. As others search for answers, they become more dependent on the Sigma for guidance, even though they may not realize they're being led at all. It's all part of the design. The Sigma provides just enough to spark curiosity, but not enough to satisfy it. And that keeps others coming back, trying to crack the code of the Sigma's wisdom. It's a kind of power that's almost invisible. No grand speeches, no overt instruction. Just hints, just cues, just enough to make people feel they are in on something important, but never enough to completely understand. In a way, it's a game, and the Sigma is the master player, letting others chase knowledge like it's the ultimate prize, while he quietly watches from the shadows, letting the game play out. Number 11. They never outshine the master because they refuse to play in his house. Sigma males don't waste time trying to impress the king. They build a separate kingdom where no king is needed. While everyone else is learning how to kiss the ring or play by the rules, Sigmas quietly walk out of the room, uninterested in competing for crumbs at someone else's table. The idea of not outshining the master isn't even on their radar, because they're not looking to be seen by a master in the first place. They're too busy creating their own domain where no one has authority over them. The truth is, Sigma males don't crave validation from those in power. They're skeptical of it. They know power games are built on ego and insecurity, and the so-called master usually thrives on control and admiration. Sigmas aren't willing to give either. They're not going to dim their light to keep someone else comfortable, but they're also not going to waste their energy proving how bright they are in someone else's spotlight. They simply remove themselves from the arena altogether and build one where they're in control of the narrative, the direction, and the rules. It's not rebellion, it's detachment. Sigmas don't want to win the master's approval or knock him off his throne. They want freedom, and freedom requires separation. While others get tangled in hierarchies, ladders, and office politics, the Sigma is already down the hall, building something independent, unseen, and far more dangerous to the status quo. This is why people underestimate them at first. They're not loud, they're not confrontational, they don't challenge the leader directly. But over time, the quiet trail they've been blazing becomes its own empire, one that doesn't rely on the master's permission or recognition to thrive. That's what makes Sigmas so unnerving to traditional power structures. You can't control someone who isn't even playing the game. So while others tiptoe around egos and hierarchy, Sigma males have already pieced out. Not to rebel, for that you still need the system. They exit to create. And in doing so, they don't just avoid outshining the master, they make him irrelevant. Number 12, they weaponize unpredictability to keep others in check. Sigma males thrive on the discomfort of unpredictability. They don't fall into routines, patterns, or expectations. They create them and break them at will. One day they're the epitome of calm, composed, and polished. The next they're a whirlwind of chaos, doing exactly what people would least expect. But here's the secret. That inconsistency isn't random. It's a carefully calculated tool that keeps everyone around them on their toes, second-guessing every move. When you're predictable, you're easy to read. And when you're easy to read, you're easy to control. But when you're unpredictable, people don't know where they stand with you. Are you going to be the stoic mastermind today, or the rogue agent defying all norms? That confusion creates a level of tension. It forces others to constantly analyze, speculate, and second-guess everything they do around you. Every interaction feels loaded, as if one wrong move could trigger an unknown response. Sigma males understand that unpredictability is one of the most powerful weapons in any social or professional dynamic. By keeping others uncertain of their intentions, emotions, or next move, they reduce the chances of being manipulated or controlled. People are too busy trying to predict what the Sigma will do next to think about using them for their own benefit. This mental strain keeps them a step ahead. And it's not just random chaos, it's intentional. A Sigma will shift gears when necessary, showing one side of themselves when it serves them and another when the situation calls for it. This keeps others guessing, making it harder for anyone to gain leverage over them. No one can hold on to a Sigma if they can't figure out where they stand or what their next move will be. In a world obsessed with certainty and structure, Sigma males operate in the beautiful chaos of unpredictability. They don't need to argue, prove a point, or compete for attention. They just show up as an enigma, forcing everyone around them to rethink their own actions. And in that space of uncertainty, the Sigma finds his power, without having to lift a finger. In the end, the power of the Sigma male lies not in his ability to dominate or shout the loudest, but in his quiet mastery of the invisible forces that shape every interaction. He is the enigma in the room, the one who observes without being seen, who moves without leaving a trace. He doesn't seek control because in his world, control is effortless. It's not seized, it's subtly woven through every action and every silence. The Sigma male doesn't need to follow anyone's rules because in his mind, he's creating the game as he goes. His brilliance lies in being underestimated, in not playing by the expectations others try to impose. While the world is obsessed with noise, chaos, and instant gratification, the Sigma understands that true power is in the quiet moments, in the spaces where others cannot reach. He uses subtlety, unpredictability, and patience as his tools, and with them, he creates a lasting influence that leaves others scrambling, trying to figure out how he does it. The Sigma male doesn't play the game to win. It's as if he's already won, simply by existing on his own terms. As we take a step back and reflect on the mind of the Sigma, it becomes clear, power isn't about forcing others to bend to your will. It's about crafting a space where others naturally gravitate toward you, without even knowing why. In this world of constant noise and competition, the Sigma male is the one who thrives in the silence, turning it into his greatest weapon. And in the end, that silent, invisible power is the most enduring of them all. If you've made it this far, then you're clearly someone who appreciates the art of subtle mastery. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Sigma male's world and want more content that unravels the extraordinary, make sure to hit that subscribe button because this is just the beginning. Don't forget to like, drop your thoughts in the comments and share this with anyone you know who could use a little Sigma-style insight in their lives. Trust me, this is the kind of wisdom that needs to be passed around. Stay tuned, keep questioning the norms, and remember, the best way to lead is often to be the quietest one in the room. Until next time, keep evolving.